Coach Corey Wayne, and this is my video coaching newsletter. And the topic of this newsletter is going to be, am I being played? Well, if you have to ask, there's a good chance you're being played. Got an email here from a viewer who wrote in an email describing a situation with a girl that he's friends with who he wants to date, and he's starting to feel like he's getting played, so he writes in asking me about this situation to get my opinion on it. So before we get into it, I got a quote that is appropriate for this I'd like to share with you. And it says, "No one will ever do or say anything to you that you don't invite them to do. If you don't feel you have anything of value to bring to a relationship, you often will become involved with people who tell you what you want to hear in order to gain what they want from you. Since you won't stand up for yourself, you allow others to continually use you and take advantage of you out of your desire to be loved and accepted. The longer you allow yourself to be used and taken advantage of, the longer it will delay the people, relationships, and circumstances you deserve from manifesting in your life." Let's go ahead and jump right into his email. He says, "Hi Corey, I'm madly in love with a woman who I'm not sure feels the same way about me. Even though I am not sure how she feels about me, the love I feel for her is nothing like I've ever felt before." Notice how he's focusing on his own feelings. And he can tell she's not really reciprocating the level of emotion and attraction that he feels for her. And I can remember my 20s. I had lots of relationships, lots of friendships with girls that I was good friends with who I wanted to date. And it's just, it's torturing yourself to carry this stuff around, because in essence what happens is your friendship is really a fraud. You became friends with her out of your desire to avoid potentially getting rejected and experiencing pain. But here you are, I don't know how far, a year, months, how long the period of time is that's transpired since you met her, but you get down the road and now you're all emotionally wrapped up in this girl. And because you were trying to avoid rejection in the first place, now you've basically prostituted yourself and your feelings to be what you thought this woman would want you to be in order to eventually figure, oh wow, this is a really great guy, maybe I should date him. And a lot of guys do that out of their desire, and I used to do this too when I was younger, out of their desire to avoid getting rejected altogether. So they settle for being friends, and the problem is you get all fixated on this girl and you completely close yourself off from any other possibility with women. And because you're hung up on her, it's like you constantly, because you got so much energy, so much emotional energy invested in this person, you don't want to realize or admit to yourself that you've been bullshitting yourself this whole time, and it's tough. And it's amazing the power of the conscious and subconscious mind to delude ourselves into believing something when it's pretty obvious to anybody else observing the outside situation that things aren't the way you want them to be. As you may have heard me talk about, I had a family member who got involved with a gal, and last year, I don't say a year ago, this summer, she put him in friend zone. She stopped sleeping with him. But he didn't want to admit that. We used to have these conversations, and he would get real butthurt about it. He says, "I'm more than just a friend." I was like, she stopped having sex with you. And because this family member just really wanted to be loved and accepted, he ignored the fact that he was in friend zone. And this went on for like 6-8 months. And she was bullshitting him, blowing sunshine up his ass, promising that someday in the future things may get better as soon as she resolves the issue with her ex-husband. And then later on the excuse was, well, she's become more involved in her church and she kind of got away from that, and so for her to be having sex with him when they're not married, well, that would be adultery, when she was hooking up with him for several months when they first got together. And he used to say, well, I'm more than just friends with her. I was like, you're bullshitting yourself. She's not having sex with you. You're just her gay male girlfriend. And the reason she's not going to completely blow that particular relationship on is because his family member, he bought her a place to live. He was paying her bills. He was giving her money. He was buying all of her supplements and just doing all kinds of silly things that, I mean, deep down he knew what was going on, but he just didn't want to admit to himself that he had gotten this far down the road. He had spent that much money And he was just hoping that it would turn around. And the problem was he would never stand up for himself and what he wanted. So he continually invited her just to continue walking all over him. It's just a bad place to be. And at the end of the day, he finally got to the point where he just says, I can't do this anymore. And of course, she was peeved because, you know, she's losing her meal ticket in essence. And you just afterwards, when you come down from the emotional high of deluding yourself, you just shake your head. You know, it's embarrassing to realize that you allowed yourself to get that far into things when you weren't really getting much back from the other person. So he says, for me, it is totally devoid of possession, fear, or expectation. It is truly unconditional. It feels very free and liberating, if that makes sense. It's totally awesome, he puts in big letters. Well, at least in your mind, it's awesome. He says, there's a 20-year age gap between us, and me being the older one, and there are distinct cultural and religious differences. She is Indian and Hindu, and I'm Western and Christian, although not practicing. She's extremely intelligent and very mature for her age, although still emotionally immature on a number of levels. She also, and so her emotional immaturity is the label that he puts on her to justify his behavior and say, oh, well, it's just this, you know, something's wrong with her. It can't be anything that I'm doing wrong here, of course. He says she also has her fair share of insecurities related to past relationships and a difficult upbringing. So now he's making excuses for her, and this is typically what we do when we bullshit ourselves. He says we've been seeing each other for about 8 months. We hit it off straight away on every possible level, and we've become best friends. That's it. You're friends with this girl, but you're not seeing her. And that's where you're bullshitting yourself. You're seeing this relationship as more than it actually is. He says, we see each other every other day, and we just click and fit so perfectly, except for the fact you're not sleeping together. He says, I know she likes me a lot. She trusts me completely, and she wants to spend time with me, but she is non-committal about any feelings she has for me. That's because she really doesn't have any. And you've become her emotional tampon, her gay male girlfriend, and her manservant. You're her shoulder to cry on when she needs a man to talk to. He says she's been hurt pretty bad in the past relationships for this reason. She's not willing or ready to open her heart to anyone else again anytime soon. He says, I'm pretty sure I'm in the friend zone, albeit her best friend. That's when you got to say, hey, look, I really want you, and I want more than what we have, and I can't do the friends only thing. And I know we have a great connection and everything, but you know, hanging out with you and not having sex and not having anything physical is just torture for me. And so if you're telling me that you're not in a place where you're able to date or whatever, then great. Give me a call if you change your mind, because I got to move on. I can't do this anymore. You got to stand up for yourself, dude. You got to grow a set. I'm sorry, but that's the way it is. He says the problem is this. Now listen, you know, on the flip side, she's telling him, oh, I can't have a relationship because I'm just not in a place where I don't know where I'm able to be right now. I had a woman tell me that once. I wrote about it in my book. He says there's another guy in the scene which she is attracted to, but he's married and he's also her boss. So it sounds like both of you are into being hung up on people that are unavailable or that you can't have a relationship with or that don't want you. Like attracts like. He says he's also older than her, like me, and I know that he's attracted to her too. Their personal relationship is a complete secret known only to them and me because she tells me about it. He says, I should point out too that our relationship is also secret from him. Our relationship is not, however, a secret from anyone else. My friends, her friends, and her family know about us. Well, there is no us, dude. You're just friends. He says her dad disapproves because I'm not Indian, but that does not stop her. He says no one else knows about her relationship with her boss. I think the secret nature of it is part of the attraction. Probably because she's screwing this other guy. And she gets the emotional support that she can't get from him because he's married to somebody else from you. He says anyway, her relationship with the other guy is very intimate and very flirtatious. She's probably definitely fucking this other guy, dude. I'm sorry to tell you, but it's probably the way it is. He says, I'm pretty sure they have not been physical. I honestly don't know what their intentions are towards each other, but without wanting to sound like the moral police, I feel their relationship so far is already wrong on a number of levels, mostly in terms of his marriage. Well, at the end of the day, she's not your girlfriend. It's really none of your business. That's why you should be dating women that are single and available and that you're actually hooking up with. I mean, you're allowing yourself to be used here. He says, call me old-fashioned, but sex or no sex, carrying on a secret, intimate, very sexually flirtatious relationship with another woman is akin to cheating, to which me shows a lack of integrity, respect, honesty, and commitment to the marriage. That's exactly why you should be involved with this girl, because that kind of loyalty and commitment doesn't mean jack shit to her. He says, I have a suspicion that they may just be both playing each other. Well, I think she's playing you, definitely. He says, I know she's attracted to him, but I think she may be pursuing, teasing, luring, playing with him for both professional and personal reasons. Maybe she's trying to sleep her way to the top. He says, obviously, as her boss, he can help her up the career ladder, and it's not the honorable way to climb the ladder, I know, and I've told her this, but she continues, and I think this is because on a personal level, I think she sees him as safe as well as challenging to pursue because he's married. Sounds like she's just trying to further her career and doesn't care how she goes about getting there. He says this is where her emotional immaturity starts to show. Well, I agree. She's immature in that particular way, but she doesn't give a shit who she hurts. She doesn't care that she's using you, and she doesn't care that she's using him. That's not a type of woman that you want to have a relationship with or have as a girlfriend or a wife. I'm sorry, that's just the way it is. Because this is how she operates. This is her operating system. He says, I think she wants to know if she can lure and seduce him away from his wife, but at the same time she's not frightened about entering a true romantic, heartfelt relationship with him because she does not believe he will leave his wife and family for her. Conversely, she may see me as a bit of a worry or a threat because I am free and available and have nothing but love for her, and she's just not ready for a real commitment. Again, just yet. Well, sounds like she's getting her physical needs met with this guy who's married. So she can avoid a relationship altogether. She gets you as her emotional tampon, and she gets great sex and career advancement from her boss. He says she's very beautiful and very used to men chasing her constantly, and she knows how to use her charms very well. Again, that tells me she's purposely used to manipulating people. You need to wake up, bro. He says she does not use real sex, but she, as far as you know, but she does use teasing and the thought of sex to manipulate men. Well, But you obviously don't see that she's manipulating you. It's like, come on, bro. Come on, man. He says she does it with me too, but I know she does it, and she knows it that I know, and it's fun for us both. Well, if it was really fun, you wouldn't be writing to me about this. He says, I do it right back to her too. Well, except the fact that you're not having sex with her. She's my best friend, and our relationship alone means a great deal to me, but what do you think, Corey? Am I just being a fool? Yeah. He says, is she just playing me? Yep. He said, should I cut her loose and walk away? Yep. The only thing this girl would be good for is a great sex playmate and somebody to casually hook up with. And if you think that you can have a healthy relationship with a woman like this, you are totally bullshitting yourself, because that's the kind of person you're dealing with here. Commitments, loyalty, screwing up somebody else's marriage, it doesn't matter to her. And unfortunately, that's just the way this particular girl is. So you just need to have a real heart to heart with her. Just say, look, I want you, and I know we're great friends, but I can't stand just being your friend and not having everything here. Not being able to touch you, to make love to you, to kiss you, to hold you. It's like, I can't do it anymore. So unless you want something more, then I'm out of here. If you change your mind, give me a call, because I'd love to hang out and hook up and have a great time and just see where it goes. That's all I'd say to her. And then walk. And then if she reaches out to you a couple days later, said, great, I'd love to see you. Why don't you grab a bottle of wine, come on over to my place. And when she comes over, just say, I think you need to get her with and kiss me right now. And go for it. And if she won't make anything physical with you, or if she won't do it and she gives you an excuse, just say, look, I told you the other day, I was dead serious. I wasn't blowing sunshine up your ass. I want something more than just a friendship with you. And if that's not cool, then you should probably leave right now and call me if you change your mind. And you gotta grow a set of balls, and she will respect you because you're standing up for what you want and you're acting like a man for the first time that she's been with you. And I'd say there's a good chance she'd sleep with you, but otherwise, you're just bullshitting yourself. So if you'd like to get my help personally, the quickest way is to book a paid phone coaching session or a Skype phone session if you're international by going to my website, click the products tab at the top of your screen, and just follow the instructions for booking a paid phone session. I'll talk to you soon.